Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get started with our keynote speaker. But first off, I want to take a moment to give a round of applause to the Broadmoor staff for that wonderful lunch. Thank you. I'd like to bring up to the stage Cadet Second Class Garrett Guatz to introduce our keynote speaker.
Good afternoon. Today's luncheon keynote speaker is Vice Admiral Nancy Norton. Vice Admiral Norton is the director of the Defense Information Systems Agency, known as DISA, and the commander of the Joint Force Headquarters Department of Defense Information Network. As a director of DISA, Admiral Norton leads more than 8,000 military and civilian personnel who develop and operate joint interoperable command and control capabilities and defend an enterprise infrastructure in more than 42 countries. As the commander of Joint Force Headquarters Department of Defense Information Network, she is charged with the direction and synchronization of defensive cyberspace activities, providing unity of command and effort across the Department of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice Admiral Norton.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much to Cadet Second Class Guatz. I appreciate that. That's a mouthful, I know it is. I actually was at a cyber security subcommittee hearing with the SAS last week, and I stumbled over my own title. So it happens, trust me. My husband, as I was getting ready to take this job, he said, the hardest part about this job is that I have to be able to say your title. And I said, don't do the hard one. Just say DISA and JFHQ Doden. So that's a whole lot easier. But it's a real pleasure to be here today. I want to specifically thank Vanessa Johnson and Philip Parker and the AFCEA Rocky Mountain chapter for the invitation to be part of this year's symposium. It is a beautiful winter day here in Colorado Springs. I went from snow and ice in Maryland to San Antonio, Texas last week, thinking that I was going to get some warmth and sunshine down in San Antonio. And in fact, I got gloom and cold and rain down there. But here I come and I get beautiful sunshine and 60-degree weather. So this is just crazy. But there's no place better than Colorado Springs in the winter time, even when it's cold, and it certainly is beautiful today. So the fresh air and the mountains and being out of DC is always a good thing. So this is a terrific event to discuss cybersecurity and the technologies of machine learning and artificial intelligence that can and must be used for competitive advantage in cyberspace operations today and in the future. I hope that improving our cyber readiness and maintaining a competitive advantage are key priorities for everyone in attendance today. They certainly are for me. While technology has made it easier for us to operate and communicate, it has also presented a unique set of challenges, dependencies, and vulnerabilities for the Department of Defense, our nation, our economy, and our everyday lives. In staying with the symposium theme, I want to address how machine learning and artificial intelligence are key to our national defense strategy and our department leaders, our warfighters, and our nation. I also want to share a few things we're doing at DISA to keep pace with technology advances. So as you heard, I have the privilege of serving in a dual-hatted position as both the director of DISA under the DoD Chief Information Officer, Mr. Dana Deasy, and the commander of Joint Force Headquarters Doden under the direction of General Paul Nakasone, the commander of U.S. Cyber Command. Of course, he's also dual-hatted as the National Security Agency director. Both organizations play a critical role in providing our warfighters across the Department of Defense and our national level leaders with the most effective and most resilient communications and information technology services worldwide. We also play a critical role in denying our adversaries an advantage in the cyber domain. So DISA conducts DoD information network operations for the Joint Warfighter. And JFHQ Doden provides command and control of Doden operations and defensive cyberspace operations internal defense measures globally in order to synchronize the protection of all 43 DoD components capabilities to enable power projection and freedom of action across all warfighting domains. As technology continues to evolve, the department has to be ready for a different kind of fight. The cyber domain is the battle space that nearly everyone in the DoD operates in every day. And there is great power competition in this domain. Not a potential future fight, but fighting in cyberspace every day. Our adversaries become more sophisticated each day, and the number of cyber attacks continue to increase. We see about 1.5 billion cyber events, malicious or potentially malicious cyber events against the DoD every single day. We have to adopt a warfighting mindset. Everyone in the DoD is a cyber warrior. From senior leaders to each and every user across the DoD, their actions matter and can cause failure. So we have to change the culture around how we operate and defend in cyberspace. Part of that is recognizing that we must reduce the human factor wherever possible to increase speed and reduce human error for our users, for our administrators, and for our cyber defenders. We certainly can't process 1.5 billion cyber events manually. Joint Force Headquarters DoD sets the operational requirements in cybersecurity in support of U.S. Cyber Command that drive the scope, the scale, and the timeliness required for our secure, operate, and defend missions. And that requires new and innovative solutions to be achievable. DISA is the execution arm for much of that, and we are committed to our vision to be the trusted provider to connect and protect the warfighter in cyberspace. But we can't do it alone. Strengthening our partnerships and working closely with industry and academia helps us drive innovation, foster collaboration, and solve the warfighter's problems so they can accomplish their missions. Through trusted partnerships, we have access to the latest information, research, and expertise from many of you in this room today. Conferences like these help to share and spread that information. We support the Secretary of Defense's National Defense Strategy and its 3 lines of effort: to increase the lethality of our warfighters, to foster partnerships that cut across barriers to mission success, and to enact reforms to increase effectiveness and efficiency. All 3 lines of effort can be supported by use of artificial intelligence. AI is changing our processes and systems with procedures that traditionally required human intelligence and intervention to increase our productivity. Automation will allow us to focus on other efforts pertinent to our mission and national defense. The DoD CIO recognizes the benefit of emerging technologies and included artificial intelligence into his 4 key focus areas in support of the National Defense Strategy, along with cloud, command, control, and communications, or C3, and cybersecurity. Mr. Deasy describes artificial intelligence as the agent of transformation across the department. In June of 2018, his office established the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, also known as JAIC. The JAIC will lead the Department of Defense in artificial intelligence planning, policy, oversight, ethics, and safety by ensuring AI capabilities inform strategy, policy, and operations. The JAIC's goal is to use AI to solve large and complex problem sets that span multiple services and ensure the services and components can have real-time access and contribute to ever-improving libraries of data sets and tools. It will eliminate silos and make it easier for knowledge sharing across the enterprise. But of course, AI is not a new technology. DoD has been investing in AI since the 1960s, with DARPA leading the way. What is new at this point is that the DoD is working to accelerate AI-enabled capabilities, to scale the impact of AI across the department, and to synchronize DoD AI activities beyond R&D to expand Joint Force advantages in every domain. The full range of that AI spectrum that Gordon Hanna showed earlier today, from automation to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, will improve our ability to secure, operate, and defend our IT systems, services, and capabilities. At DISA, we're using emerging technologies to enhance our mission. The warfighting demands on the cyber domain require us to take a fundamentally different approach and implement a paradigm shift from traditional computing, networking, development, management, and cybersecurity.
Our software-defined enterprise team is leading initiatives to use automation and orchestration in our services and capabilities across the agency. We are using automation and orchestration to reduce the time needed to accomplish specific tasks, from automating telecommunications circuit provisioning to using AI to review and reduce risk of authorized service interruptions, or ASIs, to automating network configuration. One example is in decommissioning systems in our data centers, where we reduce the time from 97 days down to 1 day. We are automating from the hardware provisioning to operating system configuration to application, storage, and data replication and inventory reporting, all faster and with less error. As we make these changes to the enterprise, the team is incorporating cybersecurity tools to pace the threat of our adversaries. The agency will further reduce manual processes, dramatically reducing the time it takes to deliver patches and system upgrades, and sensor monitoring and cyber response actions. This is critical because at the same time, our adversaries are increasingly automating their cyber attacks. We already automate blocking 83% of the email inbound to the DoD, and a significant portion of the malicious or suspicious web content. To determine how to apply AI-enabled technologies to our existing portfolio, we created an AI team within DISA. This AI team's efforts include automated system analysis and security orchestration to integrate AI into our existing processes and systems. This tool will target a variety of cybersecurity problem sets faced by cyber analysts within the agency and the department. It will also provide our senior leaders with accurate data to make well-informed decisions regarding our cybersecurity operations. This will give us the ability to automate our cybersecurity inspections on a near real-time basis, where I can verify compliance across the DoD instead of assuming compliance based on reporting. The DISA AI team will collaborate with the JAIC, as well as industry, academia, and nonprofit organizations during our initial AI capability development, integration, and deployment. We are fortunate to have working relationships with some of the best in the field: MIT Lincoln Labs, the Software Engineering Institute at Carnegie Mellon, the Army Research Lab, and the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, among others. A key theme of using artificial intelligence in any area, but certainly in the cyber domain, is the importance of good quality data. We have prioritized cleaning and organizing our data. We certainly don't lack data in cybersecurity. Every sensor provides data, from the perimeter defenses to the midpoint and the endpoint. We collect over 1 petabyte of sensor data a year. Making sure that data is used effectively is where AI will improve how we respond. Our AI processes have to learn to think like a malicious human in order to effectively defend the DoD, automatically correlating threat intel, conducting user activity monitoring, and delivering situational awareness tools and decision support tools to allow our warfighters to continue their mission even through a contested cyber domain. We're also using AI in ways outside of traditional cyber operations, supporting warfighters' effective and efficient use of the electromagnetic spectrum, or EMS. Commercial use of the spectrum is increasing, with the growing number of smartphones, wearable devices, drones, security systems, household appliances, and the full range of Internet of Things. The EMS is becoming increasingly congested and constrained. But the DoD's need is not decreasing and is more critical than ever to our way of operating. It can be overwhelming for our warfighters to review information and make accurate and actionable decisions about how and where they can use different parts of the spectrum. AI is enabling effective spectrum operations and sharing to meet military spectrum requirements and provide data visualization tools to understand this complex battle space. As potential adversaries increase their electronic warfare capabilities, the spectrum will be increasingly contested. DoD has to be able to adapt rapidly in times of conflict and allow our warfighters optimal use of the spectrum. And we're using AI in our own business operations to become more effective across the agency. Together with the University of Southern California's Institute of Creative Technology, our Knowledge Management branch is exploring a way to retain agency and mission-critical information. The combined team is currently developing a knowledge management virtual human. This project will provide DISA with a prototype of an engaging, interactive, augmented reality and virtual reality cloud-based system to aid in the collecting, curating, and disseminating of job-specific information. It will aid our employees from their first day with the agency and continuously grow with them. This project will be a great way for us to facilitate knowledge sharing across the agency, which is vital for an agency with an aging workforce. The DISA Global Service Desk is working on another prototype called the DISA Virtual Assistant, or DIVA. DIVA will introduce AI to our service desk processes. It will perform a limited set of service desk functions and have the ability to both learn and communicate with customers using natural language. A major benefit will be its ability to resolve approximately 80% of our service desk calls and reduce errors. The prototype will give our service desk personnel the opportunity to concentrate on the Tier 2 and Tier 3 issues and other cybersecurity concerns. One automation success story that I am particularly happy with is in our support of our accounting and finance processes. Again, you heard Mr. Hanna talk about the benefit of automation in the finance industry. Well, DISA was the first defense agency to deploy the use of robotic process automation, or RPAs, also known as bots, during our 2018 financial statement audit to automatically pull from a variety of systems and electronic repositories in response to our audit queries. These bots allowed our accountants to focus on analytics rather than retrieving documents. The bots were used to pull audit support for the 12,000 audit samples retrieved during the course of the audit. Normally, each of the samples require an average of 5 to 10 pieces of documentation, so as much as 120,000 pieces of documentation. The bots saved us a great deal of time needed to query the systems and assemble the data. The results were very encouraging, and we're expanding the process during the 2019 audit, as well as sharing this approach with our other DoD components. So implementing AI capabilities is critical for the DoD to sustain a competitive advantage in the current threat environment. We have to be able to analyze large quantities of data and respond quickly to maintain our operations and stay ahead of our adversaries. We just can't do that with manual processes and more people. We will only be able to meet these challenges through automation and artificial intelligence. Having a forum like this symposium to discuss cybersecurity initiatives and integrating cutting-edge technologies is valuable to meeting our mission and accomplishing our goals. It also highlights the importance of partnerships between government, industry, academia, and nonprofit organizations to accomplish a common goal of implementing innovative technologies to protect our networks, applications, and systems for the warfighter. What I particularly need from industry is for you to build automation and artificial intelligence capabilities that are transparent, well understood, effective, and secure out of the box. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today to discuss the work we're doing to invest in our defenses within the cyber domain. I hope you walk away from this year's symposium with a much better understanding of how emerging technologies can support our critical role of protecting the warfighter in cyberspace. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Do we have any questions? There's one. There's our cadets.
Admiral Norton, always good to see you.
Hi, how are you, AG?
Good, good. AG Hatcher, Air Force. What a great job, what an incredible mission you have. Can you talk a little bit about, if you could get to that one extra thing, perhaps in terms of your combatant commander support and, excuse me, And I know you wear both hats in terms of that, but can you talk about that a little bit in terms of where you want to go, what you want to do in terms of with this mission area?
Yeah, specifically for our combatant commanders?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So as I said, the adversary is increasing its pace and speed of attacks. More and more our adversaries are using the same kind of automation that we're trying to use, except they're using it for malicious activity. And so the way that we've been doing business in terms of days and sometimes weeks and months to secure our systems just will not be effective in the future. We have to get down to minutes and hours at the most, and ideally under an hour in everything that we're doing. And so for the combatant commands, we have to be able to do that not only for the sectors of the information systems that they're responsible for, but also for the functional sectors that support them. And by that I mean the mission systems that support them in their most critical missions as a combatant commander. So for example, for NORTHCOM, they are most interested in the ballistic missile defense systems that not that they operate, but that the services operate for them, that the Missile Defense Agency operates for them. And so they need the understanding, situational awareness, and rapid response of all of the systems that support their BMD mission as quickly as possible. So if you're in STRATCOM, it would be the NC3 mission. If you're in TRANSCOM, it would be the Global Logistics mission. And they don't have the ability to automate and rapidly respond to the systems that are owned by others across the DoD. And so that's probably the most important aspect of what the Joint Force Headquarters DODN is trying to do in response to the demands from the combatant commanders. Other questions? See any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
Once again, Vice Admiral Norton, on behalf of the Rocky Mountain chapter of AFCEA, thanks for taking the time to come out, and thanks for those enlightening words. At this point, the lunch is done. Please take a moment to go through the exhibit hall, sponsored by Microsoft. Take a look around. We'll resume in the CEPCO Symposium Room at 1400 with our first panel of the symposium. Thank you very much.